Just like to introduce myself, I'm Ansley Sutter, Social Media Training and Communications Coordinator with Homes.com and ForRent.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to introduce our new hashtag. We have moved from FRMS Chat to RE Social Chat. That's supposed to stand for Real Estate Social Chat, and it's all-encompassing. It's going to be touching both the real estate market and the multifamily space. So we're excited to have the two families combined here and really just kick off this series with talking about ways that we can implement social media into both industries because they overlap so frequently with one another. So if you're from the real estate side and you're just getting to know us, we're happy to have you, and we hope that you can be active with us on this Twitter chat that's going on right now as we speak. So we're talking about how you can leverage your leads with social media. And what that means is that we're going to be talking about generating leads using tools like Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram and Twitter. And this is a relatively new approach to garnering new business. So we need to generate a lot of conversation. What better way to do that than with this Twitter chat? And we're using the hashtag RESocialChat on Twitter. So if you have any feedback, any questions, maybe you have some insight, this is your forum to leave those comments and questions and ideas. So use the hashtag, and we have a representative from Homes and a representative from ForRent that we are monitoring the Twitter chat right now. And one lucky winner from today's RE Social Chat can walk away with a $20 gift card. How neat is that? So we will announce the winner at the end of today's session. So all we want you to do is sit back, relax, maybe take some notes if you'd like, but definitely interact with us on hashtag RE Social Chat if you're on Twitter right now. So let's get into what we're going to be focusing on today. We all know that lead gen matters. So let's dig into the why behind it. Why is lead generation so important? Next, we're going to talk about social media can be an incredibly effective tool to drive serious interest to your door, to your doorstep. So we'll cover how social media increases the impact of lead generation. And I'll show you some examples about, from both the real estate side and the multifamily industry, how we're using social media to create a buzz. Next, we're going to talk about lead generation best practices. We all kind of need to know the do's and don'ts of any topic that touches social media so that we don't replicate that. And we'll end with some tips and links to the examples I'm going to share today, which are some great examples. So you will have those in your back pocket so you can take those away with you and adopt and implement as much as you can. Again, I can see your questions coming in real time. Stacy gave us a shout out earlier. Anyone else that wants to ping us, we can see your questions come in real time via Twitter, as well as the GoToWebinar control panel. You have that as an attendee, so feel free to ask any questions. I can see those come in real time, and I'm happy to answer them as they come in or even at the end of the webinar. So let's start off this RE Social Chat with why lead generation is so important. Okay, so let's take a look at this funnel here. If you look at lead generation like a funnel, a prospect may come to your website, or they may physically stop by your community or the house that you're helping a seller sell. And from there, you're probably going to have them fill out some type of form, and it might be a level of communication that's established from that point where they fill out their information. If at all a level of communication is established, it shows that the prospect is still interested in what you have to offer, right? And this presents an opportunity where that person will and could very well become a renter or buyer. So this whole funnel is really important. It really starts with visits. That's where your first impression is going to be implemented on your client or buyer or seller or renter. So make sure that you're not so much focused on the opportunity, because you might miss the opportunity if you don't make a good impression in that first visit, because that's where the leads are really captured. So make sure that whether it's online or even in person, that you are making a great first impression to garner and to gain these leads and have them become loyal customers. Lead generation is a hot topic in this industry, both the real estate side, multifamily, marketing, sales, you name it. Lead generation is important to every industry in corporate America and beyond. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's complex. Just because it's a hot buzzword right now doesn't mean that it's that cumbersome. So if you segment the funnel that we just went over, the first half of your job, if you kind of look at it in sections, is to get found. All you need to focus on is being seen in the social space. There's so much noise and clutter going on that it's so important to just be recognized. Brand recognition, branding is everything when you're competing against your comps in order to gain these leads. So your job is to get found. That could mean that you need to cast maybe a wider net with the content that you're putting out there. You know, think about what kind of content you're sharing, and is it speaking to the audience that's going to affect your bottom line the most? If so, great. If not, then you need to do some shifting. That means your information is accurate on your website as well. Make sure that everything's up to date. Contact info, so important. It means that you're utilizing social media and using hashtags and key SEO terms in your verbiage to attract the right renter, buyer, or seller. Again, make sure that when you are sharing content in the social space, you're implementing hashtags, you're including SEO terms that you know are going to be high search terms for a prospective renter or buyer, making sure that that verbiage is consistent. It's not about capturing every lead. It's about focusing on the quality and the serious inquiries so that you and your team can dedicate the time to that prospect in order to close the deal. So what good is it if you're trying to capture every single person that leaves you a guest card or fills out an online submission form? Because listen, maybe you get 1 out of 10. That's great. Don't think that you can capture all 10, because that's just not the case. People are going to fall off. So make sure that you're spending your time focusing on the quality leads rather than the quantity, so that you can close the deal rather than just having them slip through your fingers. Lastly, analyze. Analysis should always be part of lead generation, because this will reveal if you're attracting the right kind of renter or buyer. Therefore, you're increasing your ROI, your return on investment, and especially the time and the money that you put into garnering and creating new lead generation. It's so time consuming, and it can be financially consuming. So make sure that you're doing a SWOT analysis and making sure that, listen, what we're doing 3 months ago is not what we're doing present day. We have to shift a little bit. That's completely fine. Let's talk about how you can increase the impact with social media. The social space is becoming increasingly popular to agents and to property managers alike, because you can make a significant impact with a smaller bandwidth. And hey, who doesn't want to get more bang for the buck, or, you know, more impact out of a small time investment? I don't know anyone who would pass that opportunity by. So that's why social media is so important these days. By casting a wider net in the social sphere, you can reach more qualified leads with less effort. Who doesn't like that? Than you would if you were to cold call every single contact you have. Raise your hand or tweet out RE social chat if you have had to go through cold calls. It is painful, right? It is so painful, and quite frankly, you might get your feelings hurt. But what if you could make the same impact or greater by casting a wider net in the social space. The more people you engage with your social presence, the more people you reach. And this is going to give you a higher chance to close the deal, whether it's in the form of a signed lease for you multifamily peeps, or whether it's in the form of a closing or a contract for you real estate folks. Again, cast a wider net, diversify your outreach efforts. If you're strictly doing email marketing, you might want to try something else. Email marketing is great, but you have to have kind of your hand in a couple other different pots, so that way you're touching every single demographic. Thanks, Colleen, for the RE Social Chat. Thanks for the shout out. I'm watching this Twitter chat as we go, so make sure you're utilizing hashtag RE Social Chat. Another point to make and to note is that when you cast a wider net, you're inadvertently speaking to a larger audience. So make sure that your messaging appeals to the respective audience. When you're engaging online, your messaging is going to need to be much shorter and concise than if you were talking to a prospect in person. Listen, you could talk to them all day. You can talk about your family, your dog, da-da-da-da-da. People don't want to hear that online. They want to get right down to the bottom line because they've got things to do, they've got places to be, and that's why they're more mobile and on the go more so than ever. So when you're giving people online, you're speaking to them in a more short, concise manner. We call this snackable social media. This is where you're going to give a mobile and on-the-go consumer easy to digest pieces of information without bombarding them. So again, make sure that the way that you present yourself online is going to be different than the way that you present yourself in person. So you've got to be more direct, more to the point. You've got to drive that whiffum factor. What's in it for me? You got to drive that factor a little bit harder in the social space because people just don't have time to hear about, a long blog about why they should live at your property or why they should buy the home that you are representing. So again, make sure that you're diversifying your outreach efforts and speaking to every demographic, whether they're using a smart device or not. Okie doke, so let's move on to the 4 social channels you should definitely be utilizing to generate leads. Let's start things off with tried and true Facebook. Facebook is changing and evolving from one day to the next. This is not new news to us, right? We wake up in the morning, the first thing we do is check our Facebook page before we even brush our teeth, right? So we know that Facebook is constantly changing and we're catching up with it as we speak. The interesting thing is that when change takes place in the social sphere in general, users tend to get a little agitated, right? We don't like it when Facebook changes or Twitter changes or even Instagram changes. Remember when Instagram started introducing the promoted Instagrams where you would see like a car dealership or something promote a car and you're like, wait, what friend shared that photo? Oh wait, that's an advertisement. But we usually get used to it. But the cool thing is that the great thing is that with Facebook changing, it's changing in favor of brands, especially for us in the industry like real estate and multifamily. So listen, it's great for us. We can take full advantage of the new features that Facebook has to offer. So with Facebook, you need to start with great branding. It's all about that first impression. I cannot harp on it enough. I actually harp on it on every single webinar because it's that important. So make sure your contact information is properly placed, as well as having a stunning cover photo. Again, it's like your virtual handshake. It's the first impression that you're going to make. If you need help in that department, we've got you covered. As a customer with Homes.com and ForRent Media Solutions, you have access to an awesome cover photo builder to enhance your visual branding. So reach out to your AE or your customer service rep, they can definitely point you in the right direction, and we can set up a demo for you on how you can create a gorgeous cover photo. What you see here is an example of branding for real estate. We'll get into branding for multifamily in just a second, but these are some great cover photos that each respective real estate professional has created. And there's a saying that you should dress for the job you want, not for the job you have, right? We all have heard that. That means that you need to dress to the nines, you need to put your best face forward, because you're not necessarily dressing to stay at that job at McDonald's, right? Which is a great job. But if you want to go above that or do something different, you need to be dressing and acting the part. Now the same goes for the way you present yourself online. What you see here are some snazzy and clean, great-looking cover photos with well-placed contact information. You see here, she's got her website here. You see here at the bottom, you have her Facebook vanity URL. You have her Twitter account handle. You have her LinkedIn information. This is all great contact information that's going to take you from one part of the brand to the social space to the next. And it's keeping all of the traffic looking at their brand. So the thing is, if I'm a buyer or a seller, I want to make sure that the agent I work with is using every avenue possible to help me rent, buy, or sell a home, right? And these are the people that you're going to be gravitating toward because they've got it together. The same goes for property management, you guys. Apartment shoppers need to be sold on a lifestyle, and that starts with the first encounter, which more times than not is going to be online. We've seen stats that show that before someone even contacts you, they have their mind made up 70% of the way. They have already made the purchase decision 70%. They are just waiting to finalize that. So make sure that your branding online is on point and legit, because people probably already have their minds made up by the time that they contact you. You see these examples of properties are going to have clear calls to action. They're going to have inviting verbiage and well-placed contact information, phone number, name of the property, enjoy the good life, a brilliant new luxury development. These are all things that are going to put that property's best face forward. We talked a couple months ago about how you can implement the selfie phenomenon to your branding. This is exactly that. Make sure that you're showing your best side. The easier you make it for your prospective renter, the more likely it is you will get a qualified lead converted to a resident. So we're actually going to talk about how you can be more accessible online shortly, but make it easy for them. Take that legwork and that heavy lifting out of the way. Who out there uses Facebook Notes or posts videos? I know that a lot of people in the real estate side are doing that. I would love for more people in the multifamily industry to start utilizing Facebook Notes and videos. And don't think that it's not for you. It's for everyone. It's for every brand. That's why it's still a feature, or Facebook would have done away with it a long time ago. I've heard some of you say that you have a hard time drumming up ideas. And my suggestion is not to overthink it. What you see here is Jessica Riffle Edwards, who is an example, a socially savvy agent in North Carolina. And she has archived, I would say hundreds upon hundreds of videos that she films from her car, you guys. You can't get more on the go than that. She films from her car on the way to showings and closings, and she shares basic topics like, real estate tips for first-time home buyers, or, finding an agent in your local market. Things that are all things that we think about if we were going to buy or sell our home. And these videos, you guys, you see here, they're not even 3 minutes long. There's one that's 3 minutes and 33 seconds. There's one, her Call Me Maybe video, if you've seen that. Again, they're bite-sized, snackable pieces of content. And you can do the same exact thing, whether you're on property management or real estate. So don't give that as an excuse. You can do the same exact thing If you're a property in a metro area, for example, you can create a short 2-minute video on the top 5 reasons your property is desirable to a young working professional. Just rattle off 5 reasons. Another great example for property management, share a weekly video of the must-do events for the weekend. The possibilities are endless. It can be 30 seconds for all we care. It doesn't matter about length of time. Actually, length of time, the shorter the better. Just make sure that you're getting your brand out there. Make sure that you're sharing valuable information that these people can't get anywhere else. Another great example of Facebook generating leads with Facebook is the notes section. This is a screenshot of some notes that she's written, or Atlanta Homes of Distinction, excuse me, she's written 5 confessions for a first-time home buyer, 10 high-impact home improvements you can do for $10,000 or less, 5 questions to ask yourself before setting your offer price. You're noticing that there's a pattern here. It's giving you numbers. It's giving you something to cling to. It's letting you know that, all right, after number 8, I've got 2 more to go, then I can be on the road or I can be on my way. These are just bite-sized pieces of information, and it's a great way to kind of take the whole blogging phenomenon and apply it into your Facebook marketing strategy. So Facebook notes are essentially blogging within the Facebook environment. So now you alleviate the need to have to create a WordPress account or a blog or any type of blogging URL that you're just going to have to attach yourself to. You don't have to worry about that. Just create a Facebook note for your residents and your prospects or your home buyers or sellers and link to those on your Facebook page. We had I'm reading our Twitter chat right now. We had RJ ask, would you recommend video testimonials from residents? You're speaking my language. I'm going to share an example of some testimonials that you should be not only recording and sharing on Facebook, but you can actually upload those to Pinterest and share them as pins. So thank you so much, RJ, for that tweet. We are right on board with you. I definitely suggest that you ask residents and even prospects or home buyers or sellers to record a quick little video as to why they want to work with you or why they want to live at your property. Great tweet. Thank you so much. Okay, back to the deck we are going to talk about how you can generate leads with Facebook events. This property takes advantage of Facebook events by creating resident appreciation happy hour. You see that there's a yappy hour just for the pet owners and because they're a pet-friendly community. You see that they're throwing out costume contests. And the cool thing, I like this one, dive-in movie by the pool. How cute is that? These are some great examples, just to name a few, of some events that you can throw at your property to generate leads. So when you think about lead generation, you're fooling yourself if you think that every attendee of your event is going to be a qualified lead. That's just not the case. I'm so sorry to break your heart, but we're here to catch you when you fall. That's not the case. The goal is to close the deal at the end of the event, and it's not to do that. It's not to close the deal. It's more so to plant a seed and nurture that interest so that eventually that interest converts to a lead that lead to a resident, right? So again, we're not trying to close the deal or seal the deal at the end of a resident event or an open house. It's to plant a seed and nurture that interest so eventually that lead becomes a resident or a buyer. So you can do that by utilizing Facebook events, again, keeping all of that information, that content on your social channels. All right, so before I get into this, let me give you the background of this example because it could not ring more true how great social marketing is these days. So this is the picture. I'm sitting on my couch on a weekday evening after work You know I'm second screening. You know I'm scrolling through Instagram while I'm watching Real Housewives. That's the name of my game on weeknights. So I'm second screening, just relaxing. I'm scrolling through Facebook and I come across this post. So I see that a property in the Metro Atlanta area is throwing what looks like a super swanky grand opening for this brand new property, right? Now, mind you, I live in Virginia, but I'm from Atlanta, so I keep my finger on the needle as far as movers and shakers in Atlanta are concerned and different properties that come through so I can use them as examples. And I came across this one. I'm in Virginia, but my friend who's in Atlanta is looking for a place to live in that exact area in Brookhaven. So I text her kind of what I came across and maybe she would want to go check it out. And then she and a couple friends go. And this is what the lead generation that I'm talking about. This is online marketing with Facebook events at its finest. This is a simple post that they created to remind people of this event. They shared the actual flyer that may have gone out around the community or through the Metro Atlanta area. And this is a great example of how you can utilize Facebook events to garner engagement and generate leads. Look, they got 10 people that liked it, one share, one post. Who knows how many signed contracts and signed leases that they got, but I'm sure they're pretty close to 100% occupancy now because it happened around Thanksgiving time in November 2013. So you guys, when you see Facebook events, don't just shun it. Use it to its fullest capacity. There's a reason why it's still on Facebook. Facebook has done away with so many key features that we, quote, thought were so important, but there's a method to the madness. So if Facebook is keeping notes as a feature, if Facebook is keeping events as a feature, it's doing something for brands. So make sure that you're utilizing these features. All right, let's move on to Twitter. So Twitter in short is microblogging, say that 3 times fast, with 140 characters. So let's go over some examples of how impactful the real estate and multifamily industry can be when it comes to Twitter. You should be using those 140 characters to tweet relevant news articles to your audience. It doesn't matter if you wrote the article or not. You see for this example that they are sharing this purpose of the inspection for first-time home buyers. A lot of times first-time home buyers don't think it's important to have an inspection because, especially for a brand new property, that's not the case, and here's why. Another great example, it's tough being a first-time home buyer in this market. Here's a look at the 10 most friendly markets, and this is from Fox Business. Catherine didn't write this article, but guess what? She's sharing it. This is repurposing at its best and its finest. Make sure that just because the content is not originally yours, these articles and these outlets are encouraging you to share because guess what? They're getting more hits by you sharing it. And guess what? You're establishing yourself as the expert in this industry when you're just sharing this article. Here's an example for multifamily. Take a photo of something that differentiates you from your competition, like if you know your property has all stainless steel appliances, by golly, you better be taking a picture of that and tweeting it out. Include hashtags and specs like the price, the location in your tweets. You see that Camden Kaylee tweeted, "We have newly remodeled apartments, hashtag apartments, starting at 1,092, including trash, cable, washer and dryer. Come check us out today." Guess what? The next person who's on Twitter and says, "I need to look for a new hashtag apartment," they're going to be stumbling across this tweet. And they're going to say, "Hey, I got granite countertops. I got hardwood floors. I'm getting stainless steel appliances. I need to go visit that property." So make sure that you're utilizing hashtags to generate leads and get more foot traffic into touring your property. Another great use for Twitter is a Tweetup. Who's ever been to a Tweetup? You're on a Tweetup right now. At your next resident event or open house, set up a poster with a custom hashtag and ask the folks to use that hashtag if they're going to tweet. A realtor in Florida decided to host a tweet up at one of his properties instead of a traditional open house. And by tweeting the event in advance, his local Twitter community got more than double the number of attendees at this open house than he usually does at any other open house event because people were already tweeting about it. He encouraged his attendees to upload photos of the home on Twitter. He noticed a dramatic increase in page views to his listing of the property as a result. After the event, he mentioned that not only did the attendees post photos and info of the event, many of their friends on social networking sites retweeted and reposted the events and the photos, giving the event a longer life past the actual event. So if you want to talk about working smarter, not harder, a tweet up or a Twitter chat is where it's at. That's why you're on one today. What about the properties out there in property management who have just completed your final phase, and now you can get foot traffic in the door now that you're finished building? Host a tweet up, you guys. Get some qualified leads out of the experience and get residents signing those leases. Here's an example of an agent that actually created, this is genius, you guys. He created a Twitter account for his property. So this is on the real estate side, and this is at 229 Rock Glen. That was created, it was created in 2009, I believe. You see the tweets are coming from 2009. And this Twitter account, this house, posted only 16 tweets. You see that they generated 401 followers from 16 tweets, you guys. That is crazy. And the property sold. How insane is that? If you created a Twitter account for your community or your property and tweeted, "I'm in a beautiful neighborhood with great restaurants," not only is that funny, but it's a clever way to offer useful information about the property, whether it's for rent or for sale. So when we're talking social media, this is not for you're right, they have 341 followers. So sorry for my math. They're following 401. Thank you, Kathleen. They're following 401 people. They have 341 followers. Still not too shabby for only 16 tweets, if I do say so myself. But what I'm trying to tell you is that if you're coming to sessions like this, or you're thinking, I need to start implementing social media into my marketing strategy, it's not for the type of person who wants to stay inside the box. I'm going to tell you that right now. Social media is all about taking marketing strategies, tried and true marketing strategies, and thinking outside of the box and really just going for the jugular. Because guess what? There's so much noise and clutter, like I've said, out in the social space. So many people competing for your leads that you've got to do things like this to have a one-up on your competition. Some other suggestions to gain leads is to learn from your peers. Social savvy agents and property managers often bump heads with the like in Twitter chats like what you're learning today, which are usually like an hour-long kind of brainstorming session on various topics that touch the industry. So I've shared 2 popular Twitter chats that are going to be relevant for real estate and multifamily, but feel free, if you're on the Twitter chat now, if you're using hashtag #ReSocialChat, make sure that you're sharing Twitter chats that you sit on and you know that you're garnering some great advice and great tips on lead generation in those Twitter chats. We'd love to know about them. So let's talk about Pinterest, then we'll get to Instagram. We're seeing marketers for big brands use Pinterest as a vessel to generate leads. We're seeing pinners write captions with strategically placed keywords and hashtags to help with search engine optimization and findability. We're seeing brands with websites and videos pin links that drive traffic directly to that site. So also Pinterest is a great way to engage in a dialogue with pinners and prospects. One way that you can generate leads with Pinterest is by pinning your floor plans and your listings. Give each of your specific listings an opportunity to be seen by including an engaging description and link back to your website. This is an example of a real estate pro that's posting their listings as individual pins, and they're sharing the great amenities that showcase the best sides of their properties. Another great thing is this is a real live example of an agent who did just that. He pinned his property and created a pin board for his property and sold a home via Pinterest. How insane is that? He was able to snag a buyer for a 900 square foot home in Malibu, and within 6 days of creating the pin board for the listing, that property went into escrow. So this is extremely possible for any type of real estate. Property management too, and agents. You can apply this to your marketing playbook. On the property management side, you can do the same thing by pinning the great amenities, taking a picture of the granite countertops and pinning that floor plan and giving the specs about that floor plan, or if you want to learn more and link back to the website. Again, this is not strictly for real estate and multifamily. You can apply these practices to both sides of the industry. We had someone on Twitter talk about getting testimonials. I think that's a great, RJ, that's a great tip. What's more credible than client testimonials, right? Ask brand advocates like your residents or your first-time home buyers or even your empty nesters that are downsizing to record a testimonial after they've signed a lease at your community or even after they've closed on their new home. Letting your brand ambassadors speak for you is going to come across as more trustworthy, and it's going to attract that prospect that's been hovering over your, over your website, and they're afraid to pull the trigger, or maybe they're on the fence. This is going to be that buy-in for them that says, okay, I need to go with this agent, or okay, I need to really go to this property before they hit 100% occupancy and I can't get an apartment at this community. This is what's going to do that trick for you. I see that someone on Twitter loves Pinterest, loves seeing that Varsity Quarters. Thank you so much, Villages on Maple. We love having you. I'm loving everybody on this Twitter chat. I want to see more engagement, so thank you guys so much. Here's another example of how you can generate leads with Pinterest. These are some examples of real estate agents that created, a pin board with different real estate blogs that are going to offer a gold mine of information for people that are wanting to buy a home or sell a home. Another great example for people that are apartment shoppers, 6 easy ways to create more space in your apartment. It's not necessarily about self-promotion. You're seeing that these people have created pins and pin boards that are based on the topic, but they're not saying 6 reasons you should live at my community or 6 reasons you need to let me list your home. They're more so going to plant the seed, and they're offering that solution to frequently asked questions. This is going to work for you in the future because the next time that person needs advice, they're going to go straight to you for it, or straight to those assets that you've posted to Pinterest. All right, now that we're leaving Instagram or Pinterest space, let's talk about Instagram. And Instagram is one of the newer social networks, and it's really the social network of choice for putting your amenities on display, as well as making your audience feel as though they have a front row seat because it's all happening in real time. So Enzo Apartments, I believe, yes, they're in Atlanta, shared a photo of a couple of gorgeous property features like their landscaping and their efficient building because it's an eco-friendly property. Another great example is a staged room and a kitchen with stainless steel appliances. So they're going to share, again, they're doing selfie marketing, they're sharing the best side of their property. And another cool thing that they've done is they have included contact information should anyone who came across this Instagram post be interested. So again, they are making it easy. They're planting that seed and providing that contact information for these leads so that if they get a qualified lead that's saying, all right, I want to go through with learning more about this property, they're not having to look high and low for their address or their contact information or their office hours because INSO has provided them for that, provided that for them, excuse me. They also, INSO also implemented a referral program which is sure to drive qualified leads straight to their door because guess what? We all know that money talks, let's be real. And this resident referral program is a great way to drive qualified leads to the door. This is an example of one of the many ways Social Savvy Real Estate Pro, ATL Hood, so ATL Homes of Distinction, shares her properties. I follow her on Instagram just to kind of see what she's doing because she's super innovative with her Instagram strategy. So I'm not sure if you can see the comments here, but this 15-second video of the home that she shared garnered several inquiries. So what was the price range for something like this? How much? If I could find this up here. These are great people that are really interested in this property, and you see that 98 others liked this property. So I'm going to share this with you. I don't want to get out of the deck here, but it actually she took great shots. She did an Instagram video and took great shots of this townhome that she listed and she sold. So essentially Instagram is a free tool that's doing all the heavy lifting. Listen, there's no graphic design, there's no like video team that's following her around. She's doing this all from her smartphone. How cool is that? Another example of how real estate can use Instagram is how she took an Instagram video and shared a client who's actually signing their contract in real time, and then she did a great example of sharing features of that property so that you can get an idea of what she can do for you. So you literally, as an agent, can close the deal in real time. So I don't know about you, but if I'm shopping around for an agent that can deliver, guess what? I'm tapping her on the shoulder. She says, literally writing a contract for one of my flight attendant clients. She's going to turn this cute crib into a crash pad, cash cow for all her high-flying friends. I mean, how great is that? This property was less than $60,000. This is a great example of how you real estate folks can utilize Instagram to really drive that sense of urgency, that buzz, and generate leads in real time. We had a question that came in from Carrie. Can you include people in your video and Instagram shots without the permission of the people that are in it? Fair housing rules still apply, Carrie. Thank you for that question. You see in this example, there are no identifying factors in this picture. Same goes with this last one. If you're going to share their face, you have to have a photo release. That's just the name of the game with social media. So thank you for asking that question, because the social space can be pretty gray at sometimes. You know, like there are different factors with marketing that's black and white, but social media is still so new that there's a lot of gray area. So thank you, Carrie, for that question. To my knowledge, yes, you still, if you're going to show any identifying features like their face or their name, you have to have their a photo release. So let's talk about some best practices for building leads via social media. What you see, now that you see kind of how you can start generating more leads using social media, let's talk about the do's and don'ts. Don't be pitchy. Self-serving can lead to self-destruction as a brand. We've seen it with other brands that just talk about themselves all day, and it drives their business into the ground. So when you offer great customer service, word of mouth is going to do all the heavy lifting for you. So you can sit back and relax and really just nurture all those qualified leads and connections with great customer service. Again, ditch the pitch, just talk. Begin the relationship by asking your clients or your residents and your prospects, how can I help? Just ask the question, how can I help? Don't ask, what can I sell? Ask, how can I help? Because guess what? By offering a solution, you're going to be able to get that sell and close that deal. We're just so inundated with pitches from people and businesses, and we just really close them out, and it's like the Charlie Brown voice, right? It's like wah wah wah. You just kind of say, I'm over it, because they're trying to shove this pitch down my throat. So you're in this category where you're doing all the heavy lifting, you're working really hard, you're getting nowhere. But if you just create engagement and just a conversation, you're going to water that seed, you're going to plant that seed, you're going to water that seed with those great pieces of shareable, snackable content that you're sharing. And then when the time comes when that lead, that qualified lead, wants to, finally sign the lease at your community, or finally sell their house, or finally buy a home, you're that person, you're that guy, you're that girl that they're going to be reaching out to help do that. It's all about building trust. It's all about less of you and more about them. The social sphere is full of noise. I've said that since the beginning of this session. It's just crazy out there. Make it easy for your prospects to find you online so you can increase engagement, okay? Make it easy for them. It's all about seeing and hearing you. Once they see and hear you, they're going to interact with you, and they're going to learn how valuable you as a property can be, or you as an agent can be. It's that important. It's all about engaging. Findability, again, make it easy for them. Be accessible on social media. Make it easy for your customers, residents, prospects to contact you via social media, your website, and mobile. It's all about easy access within the social space. Another thing it's all about, best practice, is to include a call to action where you can. When you are in the business of real estate, whether it be buying and selling, or whether it be representing rentals as far as multifamily is concerned, this type of inventory moves so quickly, right? It's all about, and you know better than anyone, it's all about creating a call to action. I really love this itsourwater.org pin, which said, we need to talk. How many of you just stop what you're doing? Because when you hear that phrase, we need to talk, you're like, whoa, wait, we do? And you've captured their attention. Again, nudge your resident or prospect in the right direction. It's all about timing. Align your content. Make sure that you are being consistent across all of your social channels, because the last thing you want to do is create confusion, because then they'll just drop you like a fly. The thing is, with being in the social space, we had a question that came in. I'm going to read your question now. Let's see, how do you manage all the time it takes to maintain all these social sites? Alan asked that question. Great question, Alan. It's all about aligning your content. It's all about saying, okay, listen, this month we're going to be running a campaign and just really focusing on generating leads on Instagram. Listen, but the cool thing, Alan, is that Facebook now owns Instagram. So if you upload the Instagram app to your Facebook page, you're killing two birds with one stone. It's not taking a lot of time. That's the great thing about social media, is that it's free. and it's not time consuming. When you share a photo of a resident event, or you share a photo of a great new property that you've just listed, you can share that photo not only on Instagram, but on Facebook, on Twitter, on Tumblr if you have a Tumblr, on WordPress if you're running a blog. So you're asking, how do you manage all the time it takes? If you know how to use social media, and if you don't, that's what we're here for, to help hold your hand through it. You can essentially kill several birds with one stone by essentially posting to more than one network at one time, if that makes sense. So align your content, making sure that when you're sharing content, you're giving it a longer shelf life. You're repurposing your content. You are saying, okay, we're going to get photo releases from this open house, and we're going to repurpose them in an upcoming campaign. So say, for example, you're hosting an open house or resident event around Christmas time or the holidays. If you get those photo releases, which Carrie asked, do we need photo releases? Yes, if you're going to show any faces. When you get those photo releases, you can repurpose those photos and share them next holiday season. Tease an event out and use a photo from that last event for this upcoming event. It's all about working smarter, not harder, and aligning your focus and making sure that you're just not all over the place with social media. We went over 4 social networks today. We didn't even go over the half. There's still Google Plus to be talked about. There's still LinkedIn to be talked about. We just don't have the time to do it today. So what I've done is I've shared some links that help you learn how to generate leads on Google Plus and on LinkedIn. So the thing is, it's all about aligning your content and seeing what works for you. And everything is not going to work for you. So don't feel forced into being on every social network that we've covered just because we covered it today. So I want to end today's chat, today's hashtag RE social chat, with some application points and some valuable links. So the first thing that I have to share with you in a way to generate leads and to really present that low-hanging fruit to capture more leads is to keep an open line of communication with past residents, buyers, and sellers via Facebook. Share valuable content on your Facebook timeline. This content will be information your audience is not going to be able to get anywhere else. What kind of information, you may ask? Well, for you real estate folks, sharing updates on a market forecast or the local area will keep potential buyers coming to your page because they may kind of want to see when the timing is going to be right for them to start buying a home. Same goes with sellers. If we know that right now is kind of like the start of the peak season for real estate because it's spring. People are, wanting to buy a home before, school starts again next year or after the summer. So they're starting the process now. This is a great time to share those tidbits of information on your Facebook page. Same goes with property management. Share, like 5 top tips to consolidate and maximize space in your apartment home. These are going to be things that people are not going to get anywhere else other than your Facebook page. Another great tip is to become the expert in your local market. Don't try to tackle the world. Just try to tackle your local geographic region. So this means that you're going to have an established informational hub with your social content. That means that you're sharing info on your social channels that's relevant to your local area. Festival season is upon us, so make sure that you're sharing upcoming events via your local events pin board on Pinterest, or you're linking to that event on Facebook, or you can even tweet about upcoming events as well. If you're utilizing our social management offering that we just rolled out, it's brand new, make sure that you're taking advantage of the local category within the hot content section of the dashboard. And if you're interested in learning about this new social management system, we'll be doing demos in May. So when you see the new ForRent Media Solutions social management or social calendar come out, you're going to see that you can sign up for new trainings on social management. So this is going to help you find current events and content that speaks to the everyday apartment renter, as well as the home buyer or seller. So again, if you're interested in the social management offering, feel free to get in touch with your local account representative for Rent. They're happy to set you up with that. Another great way to generate a lead is to create content with high shareability, clickability, and findability. It's all about making it easy for your prospects to come across and encounter your brand in the social space. Once they find you, if they're a qualified lead, they're going to stick with you. Lastly, tease out your property's stellar amenities to get foot traffic through the door. You saw those Instagram images of people sharing great amenities of their property. Stainless steel appliances, washer and dryer, easy access to the highway, hardwood floors. Things like that are going to say, hey, this property is right up my alley. I might need to contact them. So these are the valuable links that I have for you. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually chat them to you for any of you guys still on the webinar. So I just chatted them to you via the go-to panel. So you have those, as well as you will get a follow-up. Thank you so much for your question, Sonia. Yes, you will get a follow-up email with this presentation and the recording in it, so you will be able to refer to this. I'm sure that you only retained, what, 5% of what you heard today, which is completely fine. I don't take offense to it. But you will be able to get this recording and this deck as a follow-up. So just be on the lookout for that, and we'll send that over to you. So I'm happy to take any questions that you may have. We answered a lot of them on the Twitter chat. We had a question come in from RJ. He said, is there a list of those you follow on the various platforms? Yes, and I just shared them with you in the chat. There are going to be examples of really good real estate Facebook marketers, really good multifamily marketers on Facebook and on Instagram, really great examples of people utilizing Pinterest. So RJ, I hope that those links will help you kind of gain some traction. And we had a question, where will the recording be? I missed some. We are going, Taylor, thank you for that question. We're going to send it to you as a follow-up. So anyone who registered, you will be getting this information as a follow-up. So thank you so much. If you came late, that's no problem. You'll get the full package in a couple of days. So right now is the time that I think everyone is waiting for, the winner of the Twitter chat. And we're happy to announce that Varsity Quarters is going to be the winner of today's Twitter chat. So thank you so much, Varsity Quarters, for engaging with us on the Twitter chat. Our first Twitter chat since we changed over from FRMS chat to RE Social Chat. So again, thank you so much for engaging with us. We would appreciate if you could DM us your information so that you will be able to get that $20 gift card in the mail to you. So again, on behalf of ForRent Media Solutions and Homes.com, everyone, I appreciate your time and have a great day. Take care.